The last traces of daylight linger on the horizon, painting the sky in shades of lavender and rose that seem to breathe with the cooling air. You stand at the edge of the great Serengeti, where the road has given way to earth packed smooth by countless seasons of rain and sun. The warmth of the day still rises from the ground beneath your feet, a gentle heat that mingles with the first whispers of evening breeze moving through the grasslands. You breathe in deeply, letting the vastness fill your lungs, tasting the wild sweetness of Africa at dusk. Before you, the plains stretch outward in every direction, an ocean of golden grass that ripples and sways as if moved by invisible tides. The acacia trees stand in solitary grace, their umbrella crowns dark against the fading light, each one a monument to patience and endurance. Some lean slightly, shaped by years of wind, their thorny branches creating delicate patterns against the sky, like calligraphy written in wood and shadow. The rough bark holds the day's warmth still, and somewhere in their leaves, doves settle with soft cooing sounds. The air carries stories on its currents. There's the dry, sweet scent of sun-baked grass, mixed with something earthier, richer, the smell of red soil that has been turned by hooves, of life moving constantly across these plains. A hint of something green drifts from a distant water source, perhaps a stream hidden in a fold of land, where animals gather as darkness approaches. Beneath it all runs the faint mineral scent of ancient stone, the bedrock of this cradle of humanity. You take a step forward, and the grass parts around you with a soft rustling, each blade releasing its own small cloud of seeds and dust that catches the dying light. The sound is almost like breathing, as if the earth itself is exhaling into evening rest. Your movements are slow, unhurried, matching the rhythm of this place where time seems measured not in minutes, but in the gradual shift of light across the landscape. You pause, feeling the packed earth give slightly under your weight, still holding traces of the day's heat in its depths. To your left, dark shapes move against the horizon, a herd of wildebeest, their forms merging into a single flowing mass as they make their way to wherever instinct guides them for the night. They move without urgency, their progress marked by the soft drumming of hooves on earth, a sound that carries far in the still air. Even at this distance, you can sense their calm purpose, the ancient knowledge that guides their steps through grass that whispers and sighs with their passing. The sky above transforms moment by moment. Where the sun has disappeared, the horizon glows with amber memory, while overhead, the first stars begin their quiet emergence. Venus appears first, bright and steady above the acacia line, followed by Jupiter's steady glow. Soon, the Southern Cross begins to reveal itself, that navigator of African nights, each star becoming clearer as your eyes adjust to the gathering darkness. The vastness above mirrors the expanse below, two infinities meeting at the horizon line, where earth and heaven blur into one. A sound rolls across the plains, deep, resonant, unmistakably powerful. A lion's call, starting low in the chest and rising to fill the air with its presence. The sound seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at once, bouncing off invisible boundaries, wrapping around you like warm velvet. You stand perfectly still, feeling the vibration of it in your chest, in the ancient ground beneath you. Let your breath slow, matching the pause that follows. Then, from another direction, perhaps miles away, comes an answer. Another lion responding to the first, their conversation spanning distances that would take you hours to cross. The temperature continues its gentle descent, and you notice how the warmth rising from red earth meets the cool air settling from above, creating tiny currents that brush against your skin like silk scarves. Your breathing naturally slows to match the rhythm of this transition time, when day creatures yield the stage to those of night. The cooling air carries moisture now, the promise of dew that will bead the grass before dawn. Small sounds begin to emerge from the grass around you. The chirp of crickets starting their evening percussion, the rustle of small creatures beginning their nocturnal wanderings. A nightjar calls out, its voice liquid and mysterious, perhaps settling onto its ground roost nearby. These sounds layer upon each other, creating a tapestry of life that surrounds without overwhelming, each voice finding its place in the growing symphony. Even the acacia trees contribute their music, leaves rustling with a dry, papery sound as the breeze strengthens. The wind brings new scents, the faint musk of distant elephants, the green smell of acacia leaves bruised by browsing giraffes, and something floral, delicate, from night-blooming plants hidden in the grass. The wind moves through the landscape like a living thing, bending the grass in waves that you can hear approaching before they reach you, a whispered promise of the cool night to come. You breathe it in, feeling your shoulders relax, your body beginning to attune to the Serengeti's evening rhythm. As you continue forward, the ground beneath your feet changes subtly. Sometimes firm red earth, sometimes softer sand, where seasonal streams once ran. Sometimes the polished stone of ancient outcrops. Each step connects you more deeply to this place, to the countless beings that have moved across these same plains for millennia. The thought brings a profound sense of peace, of being part of something infinitely larger than yourself. A single breath in the long exhalation of time. In the distance, you notice a gentle rise in the land, a low hill crowned with a lone acacia that promises a view of the plains spreading even further into mystery. The grass there catches the last light differently, appearing almost silver against the darkening landscape, moving like water in the evening breeze. It draws you forward with the softest of invitations, suggesting that from that small height you might see the true heart of the Serengeti revealed. The camps with their distant fires, the rivers where elephants wade, the endless grass where tomorrow's journey will continue to unfold. The Serengeti opens around you like a vast breathing space, the tall grasses rippling in waves that catch the last amber light of day. As your feet find the warm earth, still holding the sun's memory, a gentle breeze moves across the plain, carrying the distinctive scent of this place. Dry grass sweetened with distant acacia blossoms, the faint musk of animals settling for the night. Each breath you take seems to slow naturally, matching the unhurried rhythm of the landscape itself. Moving forward through the grass, your palms brush against stalks that bend and spring back with quiet resilience. Some feel soft as silk, others rough like well-worn rope, each one shaped by countless seasons of rain and drought. The sound they make together is hypnotic, a continuous whisper that rises and falls, like the breathing of the earth itself. Your own breathing begins to deepen, finding harmony with this ancient susurration. To one side, acacia trees stand in perfect silhouette, their umbrella crowns spreading protectively against the darkening sky. In this twilight hour, their bark appears almost silver, marked with patterns where elephants have passed, leaving their gentle signatures on the landscape. The thorns catch fragments of fading light, but there's nothing threatening in their gleam. They're simply part of the tree's quiet conversation with the world. Beneath one of these trees, you pause, feeling how the air changes in its shelter, becoming slightly cooler, holding a different quality of stillness. A soft munching sound draws your attention to a herd of wildebeest in the middle distance. They graze with such peaceful focus, their bodies moving as one dark river across the golden grass. Heads rise and fall in easy rhythm, up to check for danger, down to feed, up again, then down, creating a visual meditation that your eyes follow naturally. Sometimes one will shake its bearded head or swish its tail, but mostly they simply exist in their timeless pattern of eating and resting. Eating and resting. Closer by, Thompson's gazelles pick their delicate way through shorter grass, their movements so light they seem to barely touch the ground. When one pauses to look your way, its large dark eyes hold such calm awareness that you find yourself breathing even more slowly. Then, with a few graceful bounds that seem to float rather than leap, they relocate just far enough to maintain their comfort, their white tail patches flickering briefly before they return to their evening browse. This dance of nearness and distance feels perfectly natural, neither alarming nor urgent. Above, the sky begins its nightly transformation. Venus emerges first, steady and bright in the western sky, like a lighthouse for the stars that follow. One by one, then in small clusters, the stars reveal themselves, not switching on suddenly but gradually brightening as your eyes adjust to the gathering darkness. The Southern Cross takes shape, that ancient navigator's friend, while the horizon shifts through shades of rose and violet before settling into deep indigo. At grass level, fireflies begin their ancient light dance. These tiny sparks of green gold rise and fall through the stems, pulsing in patterns that seem random yet somehow purposeful. Following one with your eyes, you watch it trace a lazy spiral upward before disappearing, only to reappear moments later in an entirely different spot. Their cool light creates a middle layer between Earth and stars, a gentle reminder that magic exists in small, quiet moments. Your breathing naturally slows as you watch their unhurried display. The temperature has shifted subtly, the air becoming lighter and easier to breathe. New scents arrive on the cooling breeze, the green smell of dew beginning to form on grass blades, the earthy richness rising from termite mounds that dot the landscape like ancient markers. Sound travels differently now too, carrying a distant bird's call that seems both near and far, creating a sense of space that expands and contracts with each breath you take. From a burrow nearby, bat-eared foxes emerge for their nightly hunt. Their enormous ears rotate independently, scanning for the tiny sounds of insects moving through the grass. They step with quick precision, pausing to tilt their heads at remarkable angles, listening to a world of sound below your hearing range. When one pounces on some invisible prey, the movement is surprisingly delicate, almost playful. they continue their search without concern for your presence, accepting you as part of the evening landscape. Somewhere in the distance, an elephant trumpets, a sound that rolls across the plains like distant thunder. Another answers, then another, their calls creating a conversation that spans miles. The sound travels through the ground as well as the air, a vibration you feel in your chest, in the soles of your feet where they touch the warm earth. This is communication on a scale that makes you feel both small and included, part of something infinitely larger than yourself. Night sounds begin to layer and blend. A nightjar starts its mechanical churring, a sound that seems to come from the air itself. A pearl-spotted owlet adds its liquid notes, surprisingly bold for such a small bird. These join the constant chorus of insects, crickets keeping steady time, beetles clicking their mysterious codes. Far off, hyenas call to each other, their voices rising and falling like strange laughter. Even farther, barely audible, comes the low rumble of a lion, more felt than heard, a bass note that grounds all the other sounds. The starlight has grown strong enough now to silver the grass tops and cast faint shadows. Your eyes, fully adjusted to the darkness, can make out the shapes of trees, the movement of grass, the occasional silhouette of an animal passing in the distance. The Serengeti hasn't disappeared with the daylight, but has transformed into something quieter, deeper, more mysterious. Standing here in the cooling air, surrounded by the night sounds and gentle movements of grass, you feel your body beginning to relax more completely. The warmth still rising from the earth beneath your feet creates a comforting contrast with the cooler air above. Each breath brings the complex sense of this ancient place, grass and earth, distant water, the green smell of living things settling into sleep. Slowly, you lower yourself to sit among the grasses, feeling their soft scratch against your skin, the solid earth supporting you. The stalks create a natural shelter around you, high enough to make you feel held, but not confined. As you settle back, the ground beneath you feels like it's been warmed just for this moment, radiating a gentle heat that seeps into your muscles, releasing any remaining tension. Above, the Milky Way has emerged in all its glory, a river of light flowing from horizon to horizon. The stars seem close enough to touch, their ancient light a reminder that this land, these patterns of life, have existed far longer than human memory. Your breathing has found its own quiet rhythm now, slow and deep, matching the greater breathing of the Savannah night. In this cradle of grass and starlight, held by the warm earth and surrounded by the gentle sounds of creatures beginning their nocturnal lives, you feel yourself becoming part of the landscape's own story, one that stretches back through countless generations, through migrations and seasons, through the very beginning of human footsteps on this ancient ground. The earth beneath you holds stories older than memory, stories written in bone and footprint, in the paths worn by countless hooves, in the songs passed down through generations around evening fires. This vast plain you rest upon tonight has been home to life's great theatre for millions of years, a stage where the drama of survival has unfolded beneath these same stars since time began its patient count. You settle more deeply into the cooling grass, feeling the subtle pulse of this land through your palms, pressed gently to the ground. Here, in the Serengeti, the word itself meaning endless plains in the Ma language, you are touching a place that has witnessed the very emergence of humanity. Not far from where you rest, at a site called Laetoli, volcanic ash preserved footprints from nearly 4 million years ago. The marks of early humans walking upright across this same landscape, perhaps pausing as you do now to watch the sun fade behind distant hills. You breathe in slowly, letting this knowledge settle into your bones, like the cooling air settles into the grass around you. The Maasai people, whose presence here stretches back centuries, understand this land through different eyes than those who merely visit. Their cattle move across these plains in patterns learned from ancestors, following routes etched not on maps but in collective memory. In the distance, you might glimpse the soft glow of their evening fires, their bomas, circular enclosures of thorny acacia branches, protecting livestock from the same predators whose gentle calls now drift across the darkness. The Maasai do not see themselves as separate from this ecosystem, but woven into its fabric, their lives synchronized with the rains and dry seasons, with the movements of grass and game. In their tradition, cattle are sacred, each one known by name, their importance extending far beyond mere sustenance. The relationship between herder and herd mirrors the greater dance of life here, one of mutual dependence, of reading subtle signs in weather and wildlife behavior, of knowing when to move and when to rest. Their age-old practice of sharing these grasslands with wild animals has helped preserve this ecosystem, allowing it to remain one of the last places on Earth where such vast migrations still occur. The Maasai have a saying, "The Earth does not belong to us, we belong to the Earth." This philosophy permeates their approach to the land, one that Western science is only now beginning to fully appreciate. Their traditional grazing practices, moving herds to allow grasslands to recover, mirror the natural patterns of wild ungulates. You shift slightly, feeling a blade of grass brush against your wrist, cool and smooth. The texture grounds you in this moment, in this place where human wisdom and natural rhythms have intertwined for so long. The migration itself is perhaps the Serengeti's most profound story, one that unfolds in an endless, gentle cycle around you. Every year, over 1 million wildebeest, accompanied by hundreds of thousands of zebras and gazelles, trace a circular path across these plains and into Kenya's Masai Mara, following the rains that bring fresh grass. This journey of nearly 2,000 miles is not learned but inherited, encoded in the very being of each calf born into the herd. Even now in the darkness, you can sense their presence, perhaps resting not far from where you lie, their breathing creating a soft rhythm in the night air. The wildebeest begin their calving season in the southern plains, where the grass grows rich with minerals from ancient volcanic soil. Within just 3 weeks, hundreds of thousands of calves are born, their legs finding strength within minutes. Nature's quiet miracle of abundance. The zebras often lead the way as the herds move, their strong teeth able to break down the tougher, longer grasses. Behind them come the wildebeest, preferring the shorter grass the zebras leave behind. Then the gazelles, delicate and precise, selecting the newest shoots and herbs. Each species plays its role in maintaining the grassland, their grazing patterns preventing any single plant from dominating. keeping the ecosystem in perfect, peaceful balance. You close your eyes for a moment, listening to the soft sounds of the night. A distant snort, the whisper of grass in the breeze, the gentle chirp of crickets creating a lullaby of the plains. Somewhere in the distance, you hear the low rumble of elephants, communicating in frequencies that travel through the ground itself. Messages your ears cannot fully capture, but your body somehow senses. These giants, too, are shapers of this landscape, their feeding habits creating the mosaic of grassland and woodland that supports such diversity of life. The stars above you tonight have guided all these stories. The Maasai use them to mark seasons, to navigate, to tell stories that encode practical knowledge in mythic form. That bright star rising in the east, they might call it the star of the rains, its appearance signaling the time to move herds to higher ground. The Pleiades, which they call Kilikan, mark the beginning of the rains, when they appear on the horizon at sunset. You breathe in deeply, tasting the complexity of the night air, dust and grass, the faint musk of animals, the green scent of acacia leaves folding closed for the night. This is air that has been breathed by countless generations, recycled through lungs and leaves, carrying stories in its very molecules. The coolness touches your skin like silk, gentle and encompassing. A soft snort nearby reminds you that you are not alone in this contemplation. Perhaps a zebra, standing watch while others in its group rest. They take turns through the night, always one alert while others sleep. A million-year-old security system that requires no technology beyond trust and instinct. The sound is oddly comforting, a reminder of the gentle vigilance that surrounds you. Every detail connects to every other in ways that reveal themselves slowly, patiently, to those who take time to observe. The dung beetles that roll away wildebeest droppings, burying them underground, not only clean the landscape, but create nutrient-rich pockets that become seed beds for new plants. The oxpeckers that ride on the backs of buffalo and giraffes, feeding on ticks and flies, also serve as early warning systems, their calls creating a network of communication across the plains. The research stations scattered across the Serengeti continue to uncover new layers of understanding, each discovery adding another note to this ancient symphony. Scientists have found that the wildebeest migration itself shapes the very chemistry of the soil, their movements fertilizing the grasslands in precise patterns that influence plant growth for years to come. The acacia trees communicate through chemical signals, warning each other when browsers begin feeding. A whispered conversation you cannot hear, but that surrounds you nonetheless. You feel your breathing slow, matching the rhythm of the land itself. The grass beneath you has cooled further now, and you can feel the earth's stored warmth gradually releasing into the night sky. Your body settles deeper into this natural bed, muscles relaxing one by one. The Serengeti remains one of the few places where you can still experience the world in its ancient rhythm. Yet humans have always been part of this story. From those first footprints at Laetoli, to the Maasai herders, to all who come seeking connection with something larger than themselves. The question has never been whether humans belong here, but how to belong in a way that allows the great cycles to continue. As you lie here, feeling the slow spin of the earth beneath you. The endless plains around you seem to breathe with their own rhythm. The migration will continue its circle, following paths worn smooth by millions of hooves over thousands of years. The Maasai will move their herds according to wisdom passed down through generations. New calves will take their first steps, and the ancient dance will continue. The darkness deepens around you, soft and encompassing, wrapping you in its gentle embrace. You feel yourself becoming part of this continuum, another heartbeat in the vast orchestra of life that plays each night across these plains. The stories of this land settle into your bones, ancient and ongoing, as the night prepares to carry you deeper into its mysteries. Somewhere in the distance, you hear the faintest sound of water, perhaps a stream winding through the grassland, or a watering hole where animals gather in the safety of darkness. The sound calls to something deep within you, a gentle pull that whispers of more wonders waiting in the night. Your body knows this call, has always known it. The same instinct that guides every creature across these plains. Soon, you sense, you will rise and follow that sound, letting it lead you deeper into the Serengeti's embrace, where stars reflect in still water, and the night reveals its most intimate secrets. The darkness has fully claimed the Serengeti now, transforming the endless grassland into something more felt than seen. You walk slowly through the tall grass, each step releasing the stored warmth of the day from the earth beneath your feet. The blades brush against your legs with a dry whisper, their touch both rough and tender, like the caress of weathered hands that have known countless seasons. Your breathing deepens naturally, matching the unhurried rhythm of your movement through this ancient landscape. Above you, the sky has become a theatre of light. Without the interference of cities, without the veil of artificial glow, the stars reveal themselves in their true multitude. The Southern Cross hangs low on the horizon, its distinctive pattern a compass point that has guided travelers across these plains for millennia. Higher up, Orion the hunter stretches his bow across the darkness, forever pursuing his quarry through the celestial savannah. Between these familiar markers, thousands upon thousands of lesser stars fill every space, some steady and bright, others flickering like distant fires. You pause, letting your shoulders drop, feeling the weight of the day begin to dissolve under this infinite canopy. A faint orange glow draws your attention in the distance. A Maasai boma, perhaps, or a safari camp where others like you have come to witness this ancient spectacle. The fires there burn low and controlled, just enough light to push back the immediate darkness, not enough to challenge the dominion of the stars. The smoke rises straight up in the still air, a thin column connecting earth to sky, and you catch its scent on the breeze. Acacia wood, sweet and sharp, mingled with something earthier, perhaps dried dung used to keep the flames steady through the night. The familiar smell of smoke grounds you, a reminder that humans too have their place in this vast wilderness. The sounds of the savannah at night create layers of awareness around you. Closest are the insects, their chorus rising and falling in waves that seem to breathe with the land itself. Crickets maintain their steady rhythm, a metronome for the night, while other insects add their own harmonies. Gentle buzzes, soft clicks, whispered chirps that weave together into a fabric of sound. Further out, you hear the occasional snap of a branch, the rustle of something moving through the grass. These sounds don't alarm you. They're part of the natural conversation of the night. Creatures going about their nocturnal business with the same unhurried purpose that marks all life here. A family of elephants passes in the middle distance, their massive forms barely visible as darker shadows against the dark land. You hear them before you see them, the low rumble of their communication, pitched so deep it seems to come from the earth itself, felt as much in your chest as heard with your ears. Their footfalls are surprisingly quiet for such enormous creatures, a soft padding that speaks of their intimate knowledge of this terrain. They move with purpose but without haste, perhaps heading toward water, perhaps simply following paths worn by countless generations before them. You stand still, honoring their passage, feeling the night settle deeper into your bones. You continue walking, drawn forward by curiosity rather than destination. The ground beneath you changes subtly. Here, harder packed, where game trails cross. There, softer, where seasonal streams have left deposits of silt. Your feet find their own rhythm, matching the pace of the land itself, neither rushed nor hesitant. This is walking as meditation, movement without urgency, progress without pressure. Each step becomes a gentle release, letting go of thoughts that no longer serve the moment. To your left, a termite mound rises like a primitive monument, its surface still radiating warmth absorbed during the day. You approach slowly, placing your palm against it, feeling the intricate architecture beneath. Tunnels and chambers that house millions of tiny lives, each with its role in the complex society within. The surface is rough beneath your fingertips, almost crystalline in places where minerals have been brought up from deep below and incorporated into the structure. You breathe deeply, drawing in the earthy scent of the mound, feeling the stored heat seep into your hand. These mounds are the Savannah's skyscrapers, some standing for decades, constantly rebuilt and reinforced by their inhabitants. You linger here, letting the warmth spread up your arm, a gentle reminder of the sun's gift even in darkness. The wind picks up slightly, bringing with it new information. You smell water somewhere ahead, not close, but present enough to announce itself. It carries the green scent of vegetation that grows along its edges, different from the dry grass smell that dominates the open plain. There's something else too, a musky scent that might be buffalo or perhaps wildebeest, animals that never stray far from water sources. You follow this invisible trail, moving through grass that gradually changes texture, becoming slightly softer, holding more moisture. The sound of your footsteps changes too, from the crisp rustle of dry grass to a gentler whisper. You notice your breathing has slowed, each inhale bringing the cool night air deep into your lungs, each exhale releasing any remaining tension from the day. The path curves gently, and you follow it without thought, trusting your feet to find their way. You find yourself at a slight rise in the land, and from here the view opens up even further. The horizon is invisible now, lost in the darkness, but you sense the vastness stretching away in all directions. Small points of light dot the landscape, eyes reflecting starlight perhaps, or more distant fires, or simply tricks of perception in this realm where sight gives way to other senses. The Milky Way arches overhead, a river of light so dense with stars that it seems almost solid, a bridge between horizons. You stand here for a long moment, feeling impossibly small yet perfectly placed, a single point of consciousness in this immense tapestry. A smooth outcrop of rock invites you to sit, its surface still holding the day's warmth like a gentle embrace. You settle onto it slowly, feeling the stored heat rise through your body, relaxing muscles you didn't realize were tense. The rock has been polished by wind and rain, by the bodies of countless animals that have rested here before you. Its surface tells a story in texture, smooth in most places, pitted where softer minerals have worn away, cracked along lines that speak of heating and cooling cycles repeated over eons. You run your hand across it, reading this geological braille, feeling connected to every creature that has paused here before. A nightjar calls from somewhere nearby, its churring song rising and falling in a pattern that seems designed to blend with the insect chorus rather than rise above it. Another answers from across the plain, and for a moment they sing to each other, a duet that spans hundreds of meters of darkness. These birds are hunters of the night, catching insects on the wing. But their hunting is silent. Only their territorial songs announce their presence. The sound wraps around you like a soft blanket, repetitive and soothing. The air has cooled considerably now, and you feel the moisture beginning to form. Not quite dew yet, but the promise of it. It carries a freshness that wasn't there at sunset, a cleaning of the palate that makes each breath feel more nourishing. Your skin responds to the temperature change with a gentle awareness, making you conscious of where you end and the savannah begins. You pull the night air deep into your lungs, holding it for a moment before releasing it slowly, feeling your whole body settle more deeply into the quiet. Movement catches your eye. A line of animals moving in silhouette against the starlit sky. Zebras, from the distinctive shape of their heads and the rhythm of their movement. They move in single file, each following the one before, trusting in the collective wisdom of the herd. Their movement is unhurried but steady, and watching them has an almost hypnotic quality. Like watching waves approach a shore, you count them without meaning to. 1, 2, 3, 7, 12, losing track as they blend into the darkness, then finding the count again as they emerge into a patch of starlight. The soft sound of their hooves on earth creates a gentle percussion, a walking meditation that you observe from your stone perch. Time stretches and contracts. You might have been watching them for minutes or much longer. The zebras fade into the distance, but others appear. A small group of gazelles, their delicate forms picking their way through the grass with infinite care. Each movement is precise, yet relaxed. A dance they've performed every night of their lives. You stand slowly, not ready to end your wandering, but feeling the pull to move again. Your body has cooled from sitting, and walking warms you gently from within. The night is still young by Savannah standards, and there's more to experience. Your eyes have fully adjusted now, and you're surprised by how much you can see by starlight alone. The landscape reveals itself in gradients of shadow, each shade telling you something about distance, density, texture. It's a different way of seeing, one that relies as much on intuition as on actual visual clarity. A sound drifts across the plain, the distant calling of hyenas, that strange sound that carries undertones of something ancient and wild. They're far enough away to be no concern, their calls simply another layer in the night's symphony. The sound doesn't frighten you. Like everything else here, it's simply part of the night's texture, another thread in the complex weave of savanna life. You notice how even this sound, which might once have triggered alertness, now barely ripples the surface of your deepening calm. You walk on, following no particular path, letting the land guide your steps. Here the grass is shorter, grazed down by the endless herds. There it grows tall, reaching almost to your waist, each seed head catching starlight like a tiny mirror. Your passage disturbs small creatures, mice perhaps, or birds roosting in the grass. They scatter with tiny sounds, then quickly settle again once you've passed, the savanna absorbing your presence without resistance. The feeling of being held by the night's awareness comes over you, not threatening, but acknowledging. Eyes observe you, certainly. The savanna never sleeps entirely. But this watching feels more like recognition than scrutiny, as if the land itself is taking note of your presence, filing you away as another, temporary visitor in its eternal story. You're neither predator nor prey here, simply a witness, and there's deep comfort in that neutrality. Your breathing deepens further, matching the slow pulse of this ancient place. Time has become fluid in the darkness. Without the sun's arc to mark progress, duration becomes meaningless. There's only the now of each step, each breath, each sound that rises and fades in the night. Your body moves with increasing ease, finding its natural rhythm, neither fighting the terrain nor conquered by it. The gentle fatigue in your limbs feels earned and pleasant, the satisfied tiredness that comes from moving through good air under infinite stars. Ahead, you notice the fires of the distant camp again, though from a different angle now. Your wandering has traced a wide arc through the darkness. The glow seems warmer from here, more inviting, and you feel drawn toward it. Not urgently, but with the same gentle pull that draws all creatures toward warmth and community when the night grows deep. The smoke from those fires carries new scents now. Perhaps food cooking, perhaps simply the particular wood they've chosen for the evening. There's something deeply human about fire in the darkness, a connection that spans all cultures and all times. The stars wheel overhead in their ancient patterns, and you feel yourself held between earth and sky, part of something immeasurably vast, yet intimately present. The savanna has accepted you into its nighttime rhythm, and you move now as one small part of its great breathing, its endless cycle of activity and rest. The sounds around you seem to be softening, or perhaps your awareness is beginning to turn gently inward. The cricket chorus continues, but feels more like a lullaby now, a steady pulse that could carry you towards sleep. Even the occasional animal call seems gentler, as if the night itself is beginning to settle toward deeper rest. You feel the pull of those distant fires growing stronger, the promise of human voices and shared warmth, of stories that might be told as the night grows older and the fire burns low. The night has grown deeper now, and with it comes a coolness that settles over the grassland, like a gentle exhale. You feel it first on your skin, a soft touch that draws away the last memory of the day's warmth. The air moves differently at this hour, no longer the restless breeze of evening, but something slower, more deliberate, as if the earth itself is preparing for rest. Around you, the vast herds have found their places for the night. The wildebeest stand in loose clusters, their dark forms barely distinguishable from the shadows of the grass. Some lie down, their legs folded beneath them, while others remain standing, heads lowered in that half-sleep that prey animals know so well. Their breathing creates a subtle rhythm, hundreds of lungs drawing in the cool air, releasing it in soft huffs that blend with the whisper of grass blades touching in the breeze. The zebras have gathered too, their stripes dissolving into patterns of darkness and starlight. One shifts its weight, and you hear the soft thud of a hoof against packed earth. Another swishes its tail, the sound like a painter's brush across canvas. These small movements ripple through the herd, a language of comfort and reassurance spoken in the quietest gestures. You settle deeper into your resting place, feeling the earth's texture beneath you, layers of soil compressed by countless hooves, scattered pebbles smooth as river stones, the occasional root that speaks of acacia trees anchored deep below. The grass creates a natural cushion, each blade bent but not broken, cradling you with gentle resilience. As your body relaxes, you notice how the ground still holds traces of the sun's warmth in its deeper layers, a gentle heat that rises to meet the cooling air above. Above, the stars have claimed the sky completely now. The Southern Cross hangs steady, a compass point in the darkness, while around it, countless other lights pulse with their ancient rhythms. Some are planets, wandering their slow paths, while others are suns so distant their light has travelled for centuries to reach this moment, this place where you rest on the cooling earth. Between the major constellations, fainter stars emerge as your eyes adjust. The Pleiades cluster like diamonds scattered on dark velvet, Orion's belt pointing toward horizons you cannot see. The crickets maintain their steady chorus, a sound so constant it becomes like breathing, something you notice only when you choose to listen. Their song rises from everywhere and nowhere, emerging from the grass, from beneath stones, from the base of the acacia trees whose thorny silhouettes stand guard over the plain. It's a patient sound, unhurried, as if these small creatures understand something about time that larger beings have forgotten. A nightjar calls from somewhere nearby, a liquid trill that spirals up and then fades, leaving ripples of silence in its wake. The bird calls again, further away this time, moving through its territory with purposeful calm. Other nightbirds answer from their own domains, soft chirps and gentle warbles that map out the invisible architecture of the darkness. The lions have grown quiet now. Their earlier roars, which rolled across the savannah like distant thunder, have given way to silence. Perhaps they rest after a hunt, their powerful bodies stretched out somewhere in the tall grass, bellies full, breathing deep and slow. Or perhaps they simply wait, patient as the stars, knowing that the night is long and full of possibilities. The scent of the savannah at night is different from its daytime perfume. Gone is the sharp heat that rises from sun-baked earth. In its place comes something more subtle. The sweet decay of grass returning to soil, the faint musk of the herds, the clean smell of dew beginning to form on spider webs strung between the stems. There's a mineral quality to the air now, as if you can smell the very stones cooling, releasing the day's heat in invisible waves. Night-blooming flowers somewhere upwind add their secret fragrance, delicate white blossoms that open only in darkness, offering their nectar to moths and bats. Moisture is gathering in the air, so gradual you barely notice until you feel it on your skin. The finest mist, not quite dew, not quite fog. It speaks of water moving beneath the earth, ancient aquifers that feed the scattered waterholes, underground rivers that know their own slow paths through stone and soil. The grass begins to glisten faintly in the starlight, each blade wearing its tiny burden of condensation like a string of pearls. A soft snort comes from nearby, perhaps a gazelle stirring in its sleep, or a warthog adjusting its position in its burrow. The sound is oddly comforting, a reminder that you are not alone in this vastness. All around, life continues its quiet nighttime business. Mice rustle through the undergrowth, their tiny feet creating whispers of movement. An owl passes overhead, its wings silent as shadow, hunting by starlight. You shift slightly, adjusting your position, feeling how your body has created its own shallow depression in the earth. The fabric of your covering settles with a whisper, holding your warmth, while the air on your face remains fresh and cool. This contrast, warmth and coolness, shelter and openness, feels perfectly balanced, as if you found the exact center of comfort. Your muscles release their last holdings of the day, each fiber letting go in sequence like dominoes falling in slow motion. Time moves differently here in the darkness. Without the sun's arc to measure the hours, without any urgency to mark the minutes, you float in a kind of eternal present. The savannah has its own clock, the slow wheel of stars overhead, the gradual shift in cricket songs as the night deepens, the way the air grows heavier with moisture as dawn approaches, though that is still hours away. Your breathing has found its own rhythm now, matching the greater rhythm of the plain, in and out, slow and steady. Each breath a small exchange with this ancient landscape. The oxygen you draw in has been breathed by elephants and eagles, by grass and trees, cycling through countless forms of life in an endless dance of giving and receiving. With each exhale, you sink a little deeper into the earth's embrace, feeling how the ground seems to soften beneath you, accepting your weight with infinite patience. The Milky Way above seems to pulse gently, as if it too breathes with the night. Its river of light flows from horizon to horizon, and you can almost imagine you hear it, a cosmic whisper just beyond the edge of perception. The stars are so numerous here, so bright, that they cast the faintest of shadows, turning the world into a study of silver and darkness. Somewhere in the distance, hyenas call to each other, but their voices are muffled now, softened by distance and the approaching depth of night. Even these restless hunters seem to be settling, their usual cackles replaced by occasional contact calls, just checking in, just maintaining the bonds of the pack. The earth beneath you has cooled completely now, matching your own body temperature so perfectly that the boundary between self and savannah begins to blur. You are held by this land, cradled in its vast palm, just another creature seeking rest beneath the infinite sky. Deep below, you can almost sense the slow pulse of underground water, the hidden streams that will, come morning, draw the herds to secret springs. But for now, there is only this: the grassland stretching endlessly in all directions, and you, perfectly centered, perfectly still, carried by the night toward whatever dreams await in the hours before dawn.